Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Lotus, and we are back today with a very special Tekken 8 video. This was long overdue. I've had people ask me about this in the comment section, and I kind of wanted to gather more information and play the character more as we progress through Season 2 to really see what is different about Victor. What are we going to be doing to initiate our mixes through EI stance and perfumer, and what is like the overall game plan that I'm taking with him now. Obviously, we did this in Season 1. I gave you guys my favorite buttons, my game plan, how I approach the character Victor and all that, right? So we're doing it again for Season 2, because obviously the character is vastly different from Season 1 to Season 2. So the video is going to be probably a little bit longer. It's going to be a little bit more of a yap session. But this is something that I feel like you guys deserve, because all of you guys have been asking me so many different questions when it came to like Victor and stuff. How do I do this? How should I approach this? What's the best way of doing this? How are you getting people to respect this? All that stuff, right? So I thought today would have been the perfect time to actually do it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So Victor in Season 2 has obviously received a substantial amount of changes. Some buffs, some nerfs, obviously, but the nerfs came through universal changes, obviously, for the rest of the cast. But Victor has, in my opinion, been in a good spot. Like, a lot of people have said that this character is pretty bad. I've seen tier lists of this character where this character has been in bottom 5, potentially bottom 2. I do not agree with that at all. I think Victor is a very solid character. There is a lot of risk to his offense, though, and obviously, if you know the matchup, Victor becomes a lot easier to deal with. Even though this is not saying that the character is still dumb, or he's not dumb, right? The character is still very dumb, but there's a lot of stuff you can be looking out for Victors, and a lot of Victors don't really change up their offense. They kind of stay in one flow state, and that's why, like, when I'm playing Victor, I usually have two different flow states with Victor. The original flow state that you guys see me do with Victor is one that involves a lot of use of EI and a lot of like this stuff right here, where people are getting hit, or you've seen in my videos where people are getting hit by this. And this is obviously fake, because they don't have to respect any of this. They could sidestep this at any point. They could mash if they really wanted to, unless I commit to something out of perfumer, but the majority of the time I am going for that. There's a lot of different options that you can do out of this, right? And a lot of people don't really know this, which obviously is fine, but it just shows you that so many people don't tend to lab the character out. It just depends on looking at Victor's options and seeing what the character can and cannot do. So the first thing we're going to really dive into first is Victor's buttons, right? What have I been using the most with this character this season, and how am I going to approach my opponents anytime I'm playing? So in the first season, I told you guys we had up 2, which was still a very solid mid. I barely use this now. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's something that I barely use. Let me put them on block so he doesn't get hit here. Down 2 is something that I used a lot back in Season 1 as well, and it was another one where I was just not really using it as much this season, because I figured that Victor at one point in Season 1 for me was used as a counter hit based character because of 1+2, right? 1+2 was a very solid counter hit. And don't get me wrong, it's still the same counter hit. Obviously, though, the biggest nerf to it is the pushback on it, which I feel is the one thing that kind of hurts this button. And I used to be able to, if you watch my older videos, I used to do 1+2, and then the pushback would be far enough where if they did decide to press a button, you could throw out another 1+2 to catch them, and then counter hit launch, right? And now you can't really do that. So there's a lot of different ways that you have to approach Victor now. Obviously, if they block this, you kind of have to just chill. And it's like I said, there's 2 different flow states to Victor, and we're going to get into both flow states. But yeah, up 2, something I haven't really used this much this season. Down 2 is another one I haven't used as much. Still really good buttons. I will use them from time to time, but it's not how I'm looking at my offense now with Victor. One of the buttons, though, that I have been using a lot is Perfumer. And Perfumer is very strong. And the reason why Perfumer is strong is because it has 2 different properties to it, right? Obviously, you have your stance mix-ups. You have that. You have Perfumer 2, which goes into EI. You have Perfumer 4, and then you have Perfumer 3, which is obviously Heat Engager. That's safe. Then you have your second stack of Perfumer, where instead of just doing something that's out of it, you can go into EI. Now, this is where I've been using the majority of my mix-ups now, is because after watching Farzine play Victor in the top 8, I think it was like, what was it, CEO? I can't even remember. I can't remember what top 8 it was because it's been so long since I've watched it. But as I think it was CEO, like, which was like almost a month ago now. But and yeah, Farzine was doing a lot of this, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of tricky because Victor is a character that's reliant on gimmicks. He's reliant on conditioning and mental stack. And I do think that's like the biggest thing with Victor, is that if you are able to apply mental stack to your opponent and you are able to condition them to the point where they are scared to initiate any type of press, then you are going to get away with a lot of stuff from Victor, which then makes Victor ultimately a very hard character to fight, because a lot of people are going to be expecting anything out of Perfumer, because obviously Perfumer 1 goes under highs and stuff. Perfumer 3 is obviously a heat engager, and then you have your other two options, which he can go into mid. He could do that into what's it called, Power Crush. He could do this into that if they're respecting it. It's not real, obviously. This is all not real. As you can tell, we're -4 and we're in stance, so we can't block while we're in stance. But that's like the gimmick, right? That's the mental stack that you're playing against your opponents. And I was realizing this, that I think I was playing Victor wrong this season, because at one point I was really struggling to understand how this character is supposed to be played. And then I really sat there and said, well, if they don't want us to utilize 1+2, and they want us to like they don't really want us to like have a good poking in, because we already established this before that Victor's lows are really not the greatest. They never have been. Down back 4 is obviously amazing still on counter hit and stuff, but there's still some drawbacks to it where it's being like -27, so it's the worst low he has. Obviously we have down 4, which is what, -13, down 3, -13 as well, and then we have down 1, which is launch punishable on -17. Now obviously if they block this, they can duck the high, and then once again launch punishable. Now his lows are not amazing. He does have obviously this low, which we'll get into, and we'll really dive into why this low is super strong. So yeah, out of those buttons, not really using it much. I've been focusing more through Perfumer. Perfumer's been my main gist on offense. Now the only other button that I have been using a lot more is obviously up 1 still. Up 1 is still really solid. It's still really gimmicky, don't get me wrong. As you can see, it's -10 there in the bottom left. It is not real. So if somebody does react to this in time, they can hit you out of it before, I believe, the Power Crush comes out. So if their timing is bad, Power Crush will beat this, but they can react in time. I've had players against that I played against that have reacted to this multiple times, and I'm like, yeah, it's a hard mental stack. Now obviously if your opponent is pressing a lot on this, the first thing you want to do is commit to it. Obviously it is -14 though, so it is not safe, but the positive to it is that if your opponent does get hit by this, if they decide to mash on this, you are getting that for your next mix-up, which is great, right? So if you know that they're gonna press on this, you commit, they get hit, boom, you're back into EI, and then you're ready to apply the next mix-up that Victor has, whether it's EI 4, EI down 1+2, or then we have obviously the safe option, which is EI 2. So, or I completely forgot, but or if you want to just loop it again. Now we could do EI 1+2, but there is one glaring issue with it, and it's this right here, that they can duck the high. It is still a thing where they can duck. Now I've seen a lot of people complain about this, and I'm not a big fan of why people complain about this. They made Victor's 1+2 in EI homing high. And there's a lot of people that I've seen that have tried to sidestep this and then get hit by the homing high because they're trying to press after. You have to realize that you could sidestep and still duck this high. And good players will do this. Good players will consistently do this to the point where you can't really throw this out, where they're going to force you to take a gamble on if they're going to press or not. That's the scary thing with Victor that I've always said, was that Victor is a character that relies heavy on mix-ups, right? But the problem lies still that it is a gamble. It is a massive gamble by the Victor player to throw this out because obviously if they know the matchup, they're going to duck it. If they do think that you're going to press that, then it's negative 14, then they get a punish, or you have this mix up with it too. Now, I know what you're thinking. Negative 19. Kind of nuts. It is not as crazy though as you may think, because a lot of the time, if you've watched my recent video that I put out, this mix-up right here is not really a mix-up, but it's the fact that if they do press, they will get hit by this, and it'll put you in a better scenario. So like, if they block this and get hit by this, you're plus 25 and you're in their face, which is great. And even at the wall, right? If they think you're going to do the homing high, you commit to this, and boom, it launches up at the wall, and they're put back into a scenario where they have to guess, right? It's not something that I completely go for, but I do understand the appeal to it, where a lot of people, the most of the time, don't lab in this game. And I've told you this, guys, in the comments, where there's people that I've seen in the comment section tell me, well, why are people not pressing against you? Why every time I play Victor, they mash against me? It's because a lot of people just don't care. And when you have people that don't care, their offense is to the point where they're just going to keep pressing buttons until you show them something. And that's the thing. If you are going for shit like this, where you see me do this, right? And you wonder why people don't press, it's because it's a mental stack, and people are afraid to press because obviously I can do this, and if they press, I can power crush, or I can commit to this, and they're and they think they're gonna, they think I'm gonna cancel into the reset for the stance, and they get hit. It's a mental stack you have to put on your opponent. Victor is all about that this season, in my opinion, at least from what I've watched and what I've played. If you could put that mental stack on your opponent and you're forcing them to sit there and go, well, do I press here? Oh, I got hit. Should I press now? Oh, I should have pressed. That's the scary thing about Victor, is that when you have people sitting there and constantly second guessing their decisions, you've already won the game. And that's where Victor becomes his most dangerous. That's where Victor becomes to the point where everybody's going to go to Twitter and complain about the character, which obviously I've still seen people complain about the character. Victor made a top 8 with Farzine, and everybody was saying, oh my god, Victor's broken. If Victor is so broken, you would see the character being played by Arslan Ash, you would see the character being played by Ulsan, all these top players out there, but they don't play him. Even Atif, right? They don't play him. And the reason why you don't see this character as much is because nobody's going to pick a character like Victor that has such a high risk in his offense when you have other characters that are doing it 50 times better. Nina is still great. Anna is broken in this game. Who else is pretty strong as of right now? Let's see. So we have Jack 8, I think is still like, I'm going to butcher his name, but Mayo, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Jack 8 obviously is Mayo's character now. He plays Victor, but he doesn't pull out Victor unless he knows that he has to pull him out for a matchup specific reason. You also have characters like Raynor that are super strong still. Steve is still super strong. Clive is still very strong, but you don't see a bunch of Clive no more for some reason. Lars, very strong character in this meta right now. Brian is another character that you've seen a lot more. There's so many characters that you're going to go to. Oh, Jin. CBM still plays Jin. So it's like, there's so many characters that are just like doing it better than Victor, where it's like, why would I want to play Victor when all these other characters exist? Now, what I do think is happening to Victor is that Victor is becoming a character where you won't see him often, but when you do, the character is causing a lot of problems. And that's why I feel like people are going and saying, well, Victor needs to be looked at. I think Victor is way too strong. And I don't think it's that he's too strong. I think it's because nobody is seeing the character no more. And when you don't see a character for a long time, it becomes very, what's the word I'm looking for? It becomes, basically, it just becomes very scarce in the scene, right? Where you're like, well, who does this guy play? Oh, he's a Victor player. I don't have matchup experience against Victor because I don't see Victors no more. And Farzine is that Victor. Farzine is the best Victor that we have out there. And what does Farzine do? Farzine has mopped so many players because a lot of people don't really know the matchup, or they're just guessing wrong. And that's the beauty of Victor. Victor is playing Tekken 8 still. He's still putting you in 50-50 scenarios like every other character. It's just his 50-50s are either on mental stack or they're very high risk with low reward. Besides this move right here. Obviously, he gets a good amount of Oki from this, especially when he's at the wall, because this becomes very scary at the wall for a lot of players. But Victor gets a good amount of mix and a good amount of frame off of a lot of the mix-ups that he has. But okay, sorry for the little rant there. But yeah, back to Victor's buttons, right? So I've been using this. I've been using more of his down 4. His down 4 is really good. Obviously on counter hit, super strong. Down back 4 is still really good. Do not sleep on down back 4, even though it's pretty bad on block. I will also say 1+2 is still really strong, even though there's no pushback to it no more. That's still something that I love using with Victor. Back 1 is still really solid. There's no problem in using back 1. Back 1 is still really good, and there is something that you need to realize as well, is that a lot of people that use back 1, you can obviously go into perfumer, and it is not real. Obviously, as you can see in the bottom left, it is again -5. But when you have that mental stack and you sit there and you condition your opponent, something like this becomes like this. Then all they press, they get hit, right? Because a lot of people will throw out a high here, they would get hit. Or if they start respecting it, then you get to put your opponent in a scenario where again they have to guess off of a mix-up since you're +6, right? So yeah. So again, up 1, really solid. If your opponent is reacting to this in time, obviously this will beat it if they're pretty late. But if they're reacting to it, you may have to start committing to this just to test your opponent. Now, I don't say this all the time. Do not do this consistently, because if you do this consistently, then you're going to get more red. And you don't want to get red, because if you start getting, if you start putting out a flow chart where your opponent's understanding how you're playing, it's not going to be a fun time. Another move that I've been using for Victor is 2-2. Now, obviously, don't use the whole string. You have seen me use this string in videos before, but I've only used it because I know my opponent's not going to duck and I know my opponent's going to press. Again, this comes with knowledge from playing the game so much, and obviously understanding when your opponent is going to press and they're not going to press. Now, the reason why I've been using it is because, one, it's only -10 now. Now, obviously, still punishable. Kazuya can 1-1-2 this, and it is still a punishable one. Punishable move that he has. But the cool thing about it is a lot of people that see this string tend to duck this string. And when they sit there and duck it, they're free to lose their turn now, because they're looking for the gunshot, and then now you can do whatever you want and initiate the next gimmick that you have. Victor is about gimmicks. Victor is about mental stack. I will continuously repeat this so you understand how this character is being looked at in my eyes now and from what I've seen in high-level play. So yeah, 2-2-2, don't ever do this full string unless you confidently can say your opponent's gonna press because they think you're gonna just not continue the string. Now, that's another string I've been using. Now, here comes the big one, right? Back 2. I have seen Farzine use this so much, and I have not implemented this enough in my gameplay. But back 2 is fantastic. It is a 10 frame parry that is +14 on hit. And with this on counter hit, you're guaranteed options. I'll show you all the options. Oop, I dropped that one. Which will guarantee your mix-up. You have that as well. You have your heat engager too that you can confirm into. And you have that as well. Oh, sorry, I forgot you could do this. And then you can go into perfumer where you're +7. So there's so many ones where that you could choose from. Now, the ones that I optimally go for is either the heat engager, so then I can get Victor going, because when Victor gets into heat, then the character becomes even scary. Or I usually go for the simple one, which is up 1-1, and then we go into another mix-up, because this is like I said, this is the offense that I'm applying to people, where I consistently want to put them in a scenario where they have to guess, where they're forced to take the next mix-up. Now, a lot of people do not like blocking in this game. If you've noticed that, if you've played ranked a lot, there's a lot of people that tend to not hold things, and obviously, if they tend to mash on this, they will get hit by this, or if they want to mash on this, they will get hit by EI1 because it will jail completely if they continue to mash. Stuff like that, where it's like you have to just understand how your opponent's playing. But yeah, back to super strong, and this thing covers a lot of gaps. If you've there's probably videos out there for I have to like do more labbing on it, but Victor is able to do back 2 in a lot of strings for characters, where if they end up doing a string that has a big enough gap, we can parry it, and then we can get a full confirm on it, and then boom, we're back in business, and Victor's back here again, applying the next mix-up that he has. So there we go. So again, moves that I have used more frequently in season 2. Back 2, I've used it, but I have not implemented enough. 2-2-2, or just 2-2 on block, obviously, because it is safe from the last buff that it got. We do have what's it called? Down 2 is still really good. Up 2 is still really good. Have not used them as much though. Down 4 is a really solid low that does 30 damage on counter hit, and I believe it's pretty plus, right? Oh, it doesn't. I don't even think you're plus on that. That sucks, but yeah, it says you're 0. So I mean, to be fair, a lot of people are not gonna mash on wake up once they get knocked like that. Or maybe some people do. Some people might be crazy. But yeah, there's a multitude of moves that Victor has. Obviously, up 1 is still really solid, and then obviously you confirm it into that, and then perfumer. The perfumer mix that he has now. Perfumer. Oh, I forgot. Perfumer into grab is still a thing. And then you have obviously perfumer into EI, which becomes another gimmick, but super solid enough, right? So here's the next thing that we're going to talk about, and it's his low. Now, I told you guys at the beginning of season 2 that I wasn't too confident in this low. I thought this low was all right. I have now retracted that statement because I think this low is really strong. The reason why I think it's super strong is because of this. So on counter hit, it is plus 15 on hit. And you can look at the animation that Kazuya is in. It puts him in a scenario where he's coming off the ground super slow. So then your next mix-up will be guaranteed. So this is super strong, man. And I do feel like Victor is very reliant on while running 2. And obviously, if people are looking for that, they're going to get hit by this. Or if they mash on this, then we're putting them into another scenario where they're going to get counter hit into mix-ups. Now, obviously, you do have so many ways to implement what you want to do here. You could do that into that. You could just go for your mix-up, reset it. You can go for your safe option where you just don't want to do anything crazy, or you can go into your low. Now, I've done this too. You guys have seen this before too in EI. I've done this because it is plus 3. Obviously, you could press after that or sidestep if you want, because I believe if they sidestep this, let me see. I could be wrong. We're testing this right in the video. We'll have them sidestep. Yeah, so they could sidestep that if they want, and then Kazuya can electric. That second part will hit though, and I believe on sidewalk though it actually works even better. Let's see. Yeah, so on sidewalk, Victor completely goes the other way. Now, I did say this before. If they do that, obviously you have the homing high, and the homing high will track them, but good players will sidestep or sidewalk and immediately duck it, and then they get a full combo punish. So you have to be careful with that, depending on the player that you're going against. So yeah. Back to this. This low is really strong. It's only negative 14, which is nice. I believe Kazuya can still punish this. I believe Twin Pistons is like 13 frames, so he can launch it. Certain characters can launch this still, but yeah, really good. Oh, I forgot about this move. I'm totally like off on this. So, but forward 1 plus 2, really good still. I think the biggest problem with this move for me still is one. It's very linear. It's very like you can sidestep this pretty badly, and then obviously if it whiffs, look at the recovery Victor's in. It's pretty bad on whiff. So I don't really throw this out a lot, but it is pretty good to sit here and put him in a scenario where it's plus 3 on block, right? But super solid move still, regardless of its downsides it has. So what we're gonna be talking about next is his different combo routes, right? I'm not gonna have a total combo guide here for this. It's because obviously all the Victor's routes have kind of been the same still, minus a few. And the few that I'm going to show you here are putting you in better scenarios for Oki. If you want more Oki with Victor, then you are going to want to take these routes into your gameplay. The problem is with these routes, a lot of these routes are dependent on stage. Now, some stages are way too small and Victor can't do these routes. And there's other stages that are super big, like this one, the infinite stage that we have here, which is fantastic, right? Where we can sit here and go, well, I have the space now to do this route. It just depends on where you are on the screen, but you could also minimize damage if you really wanted to with some of these routes too, so you can sit there and do something different, so you can at least get the Oki that you want. But what I'm going to show you first is I'm going to show you the route that I've seen myself take and the majority of Victors have done, and then I'll show you the newest route that we have. So obviously this is all This is all preference. You don't have to take these routes, but this is just something I wanted to show you guys. So we'll start off with down forward 2. The inputs will be in the left side, obviously, that you can see. And yeah, so down forward 2. The original route that we used to take, that you guys used to see me do, is this. Now, this obviously comes with heat, and then I would do this for Oki. Now, obviously, I'm losing damage, but I'm doing this for Oki. That's just me, though. Everybody has different routes. I'm doing that for Oki. If you want a more damaging route, then you can do something like this without wasting heat, which is 70 damage, solid enough, and good wall carry. Obviously, we're on a bigger stage, like an infinite stage like this, so it's kind of here nor there. Or you can take this new route. Now, this new route here that we've found out is really good on damage. It's the best damage that he gets, and it gives him great Oki. So same thing that you would do, but you're going to sidestep here instead. And this is the biggest thing now. 74 damage, and we're in Oki. So now this obviously will connect, and if they get hit by this, then you get your Oki more. You get more Oki right after, right? So again, we'll show you the route. You're going to want to take a sidestep here, and then end it in that. And then now you have your Oki here. This is 74 damage, really solid, and it puts you in a scenario where you have super good Oki. Same thing applies to anything that Victor has when it comes to any move, like any launcher. Like this is the same thing. You can do the same thing here. Say it. All you gotta do is just change up your routing and sidestep, and boom, you have 84 damage into Oki, which is great, right? This is the stuff that Victor needs. But like I said, it's very stage dependent, so you have to be careful with how these stages are. Another one is this right here. You used to see me, sorry, I did the wrong thing. You used to see me do this. Now, this route is still really good. It's still really amazing for wall carry. You can still do this till this day. You can still do that, which is great. It's still great for wall carry. The difference now is that you can do something like this. I believe this is the route. If it's not, I'm going to be mad at myself. It's not the route. Actually, you know what? We'll simplify it. $80 damage into Oki. It's like I said, total preference on what you want. You can still go for the bigger combo here, where you get the wall carry and stuff. I messed that up. I'm sorry. Where you get the bigger damage and bigger wall carry. It's totally up to you on what your preference is. Totally preference on what you want. You don't have to end it like that either. You can, if you really wanted to, you could do something like this. Oh, I messed that up. You gotta love it for the YouTube video, you know? You could do something like that as well. We get that, one little point of damage as opposed to 79 damage, right? So it's totally different on what you want to do. The same thing can be applied to 1+2 as well. So before, I used to do something like this, and obviously it's still a great route. Still a great route to take. Still good damage if you don't want to waste your heat and stuff. But now it's something where I've been doing this now. $80 damage into Oki. I just think it's way better for Victor, and it really helps the character out in keeping what he's really good at, right? And that's mixing. Another one is, I believe down back 4 is the same way. You could do the same thing with down back 4. This is on counter hit as well. Oop, I don't think it's on. Is it that route? I'm trying to remember all this on the fly, so bear with me. Yep. Okay. There we go. Same thing, right? Nice little 84 damage into more Oki, right? It's just what you want. Like I said, you don't have to choose these routes. I just think these routes are infinitely better, but it's totally up to you, because as long as you're still doing what Victor is supposed to do, like you're sitting here and going from the middle of the stage to the wall and then applying his pressure. That's what you want to do. The goal is to get Victor and his opponent at the wall, where your opponent is going to be afraid for their life. I did remember there is oh yeah, you know what, there is one more route that I did show you guys. I think I had it in one video. You would just do this instead. 81 damage into very good Oki like that. Or if you want to spend the bar. Oh, I messed up. Like you could do that, right? Or, oh. Or you could do that and you have heat. You lose a little bit of damage, but you have the heat there, and now Victor's in a scenario where it becomes a little bit more scary, right? Before I forget, this route right here is another one that you could take. I messed that up. Don't mind me. Nice little 61 into Oki. And I believe the same thing applies to down 2 as well. You could do the same thing here. .56 into Oki. I could be a little bit wrong on how his damage is here, but Victor, he did get slightly nerfed on his damage, so it's just kind of what we have to work with now. But this is still really good in my opinion. I still think this is amazing for Victor, and this provides him the Oki, and now we can sit here and do Victor things, right? I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything else here. So other than that, like other than those like new routes, let's talk about his wall game still, right? His wall game is still relatively the same. There hasn't really been much that changed. There is a video that I'll probably link in the description if you want to see it. It's very character dependent though. I think it's like 4 to 5 characters where Victor can have better Oki at the wall, but I think it works on like King, Jack, Victor. It actually works on Victor, and there's somebody else. I can't remember the other characters. I think it works on Panda as well, like both bears, but it basically provides them better Oki. I'll probably just put that in the description if you want to see that Oki for those specific characters at the wall. But yeah, Victor's wall game, in my opinion, hasn't really changed. It's still been the same thing for me, where I've kind of done the same thing, same offense, where if we get the hit, we're kind of just either doing that. Oh, let me reset him at the wall, or we're doing this. Oh, I messed that up. He's too low. Or we have that to play it safe. That, if you remember, if you guys don't know, EI down 1 beats Rage Arts and it beats Power Crushes. So if you know your opponent's going to Power Crush or they're going to Rage Art, that will beat it and it'll just relaunch them at the wall. So keep that in mind. Yeah, so wall game hasn't really changed much. If you want the damage side of things, I still go for this. You know what? How about we do this so we can get a bigger wall here? I still go for that for like if you want the damage. If you want the Oki still, oops, sorry. If you want the Oki, you can still do this, which still hasn't changed, or I'm an idiot. Or you could do this. You could do that, but they can roll that, so be careful. Or you, oh, come on, Victor, please work with me here. Or you could do this. Why am I forgetting this? Or you could do this, which still works at the wall still. So Victor still has the same. Okay, there's really nothing that's changed at the wall. So yeah, we're already pushing almost 40 minutes on this video. Let me think. So I showed you some of the new routes. We talked about some of his buttons and stuff. We talked about some of the new stuff. Oh, I totally forgot. Did I go over this? I don't think I did. But this move right here, I believe, is it just on counter hit or is it just natural? Yeah, so even on natural. So back four is really solid. If I didn't talk about this already, I'm hoping I did. But back four is really solid. You can't get that, but you can get a different, some different options out of it. You can get 1-2 out of it. My favorite is obviously up 1-1 because it puts you in a scenario where you can again apply some mix to apply your next mix. You can do this right here, micro dash. Oh, you know what? I also did forget to talk about that. 1-1-1 is really solid. always use 1-1-1 because it puts them in a mix-up. And now that I'm remembering it too, this right here is so good. It's so good because you can do something like this. It's a gimmick, don't get me wrong. Now, you've seen me do this to somebody. If they are scared to press right here, if they're not pressing here, oh, you're free. You are free to do whatever you want if your opponent is not pressing. And this is so scary because then once you go into EI, now they have to guess again. It's so scary because then now they have to eat the low. This is where you see my flow state come from. I'll just do stuff like this if I know they're going to press, or if I know they're going to press here, I'm just going to do the low, and the low will counter hit, and I think it's like plus 14 on counter hit. So it's like stuff like that where if you start getting into that flow state with Victor, this is where you can start doing shit like this. I think I'll just do that. I'll just show you guys what I usually do. So I'll usually do this, right? This will be the scenario that I put my opponent in. So we'll do this, right? Check them with the mid because obviously that's our best option. Or imagine your opponent got knocked down already. Or we do this until they react. Or I've done this. Or I'll sit there and do Power Crush because I know my opponent's going to press, because Power Crush is only negative 13. Got to remember that as well. Power Crush being buffed to negative 13 is really helpful for Victor. Or I've done stuff like this. Now, I will say this right here is pretty gimmicky, but if your opponent is reading lows, you could do the head fake that Victor has, where he ducks his head and then you can do like that. And if they go to block a low, then obviously you have them with the mid check, or you have the down one, EI down one to check them. Or if you do this and they know you're going to go for mid, you do duck and then into the low. It's like stuff like this where you have to like mess around with Victor. Sit there and just say, hey, you know what? Let's just try it. Let's see if it works. Like this right here. This is another thing I've done. Like, it's negative 19. Yes, don't get me wrong. Super unsafe. But it's the stuff like this where if they're put in a scenario where they have to guess, your opponent's going to get afraid at some point once you apply that mental stack. But yeah, there's so much in this video that I think I've covered. For a quick recap before I end this video, like I said, up one, use it still. Still a very solid button in neutral. It is sidesteppable though, so be careful. Up two is still really good. I just haven't used it as much. Down two is still really good. And the good thing about down two is it has pushback still. Picture down two just like pre-patch 1+2. If they decide to like come in, like if you do it from right here and they have no button to reach this, look at that. This will counter hit launch every time. Like look at the range on this. That's really good. So like if you're able to like space this out and put that range and they decide to like press, 1+2 will just counter hit launch them every time. So yeah, use this still if you want to like close the gap, because I believe I think like distant 3 right here. Yeah, 3.10 ish. Let me see. Let's try 3.25. Yeah, 3.25. That'll still like cover a good amount of ground. So there's still so much you can use there. So 1, 2, 3, still really good. Down 4, use your down 4s. Down 4s are really solid. Down back 4, don't forget about your down back 4 for counter hit launches. And obviously it ducks, it crushes highs and stuff, which is great. I forgot about this. While Rising 2, still really great. It's a great mid, -8, and it counter hit launches as well. So there's so many different things that Victor has this season where I'm like, yeah, I'm using this a lot more. Now I know there's probably gonna be one person that's gonna ask about this. I still don't use this move. This move, I don't know. The reason why I don't think I will ever use it is because the amount of heat it takes. Yeah, it puts you in a +9 scenario, but I'm just not a fan of this move. I don't think I ever will. I'm just gonna like, I'd rather use perfumer mix-up. I'd rather do stuff like that, or stuff like this, or stuff like this. Duck it and then do that. Like, I'd rather do stuff like that than waste my heat on that. My heat is used mostly for either this, for evasion, or if I know they're going to look for a mid, then obviously we have our low heat smash. Still one of the weakest damage low heat smashes in the game, but it's still really good, you know. And if you don't know, I'll show you real quick. If you do not know, regular scenario here, this is not optimal, by the way. We're just showing the route. I would always do something like this, and then boom, either they have to get hit by the 442. Either they're going to be looking for this, or they're going to get hit by this. It's one of the two. It's a good mix-up still. It's a very good way to close the round out, too. If you know this is going to kill you, obviously you want to heat smash there. It's just totally up to you on how you want to apply that mix-up. So, yeah, always remember, use what you like on the character. You don't have to follow what I'm saying, but, yeah, up 1 really good. Up 2 still really good. Down 2 still really good. Down back 4 good. Down back 4, down 4 really good. What else have I used? Oh yeah, back 1 is really solid now, especially when you can apply that gimmick where you can go into perfumer and do some shenanigans, you know, or you could do this and then you go into that. You do have perfumer into EI. You do have perfumer into this low, where he does this, and then you can go back into EI. Gimmicks like this. Start messing around with Victor like this. Sit there and go, well, I'm gonna try something like this. This seems pretty weird and funky. Let's see if it works. Just do stuff like that, right? And once you start applying that stuff to players online, it's going to become a lot better. Now, I will say, though, do not stick to this flow state, because this flow state will not win you every game. That's why, like I said, I have 2 different flow states. Either it's this flow state where I'm going to apply this mix-up, and if you can't handle it and you don't know how to stop me, I'm going to keep doing it until you show me otherwise. The other play style that I have for Victor is basically more of a reserved play style, where I'll sit here and just kind of like move around and fish for stuff. Like, I'll sit here and like fish for a whiff, and if they whiff, obviously we have down 4-2 to whiff punish. That's when you have to like take a step back. You can have this flow state, but once that flow state gets stopped, you have to realize, well, I got to figure it out now. Where if they know how to stop this type of shenanigans, what can I do now to get better, or figure out how to play better with Victor? Because obviously, like I said, this is something that's not going to work consistently against better players. That's why you have to play a more reserved approach, where you have to use movement, you have to use your counter hit buttons, you have to use your side steps more, so then you can get like side steps into whiff punish, stuff like that, where you'll have to change up your play style with Victor. Then obviously implement this stuff right here. Oh, you know, I totally forgot about that as well. You can delay this if your opponent starts pressing on this, and then that gives you like the indication that they're mashing. Then what you would do here is, like, you would delay it slightly, like that. See the slight delay? You delay it, and then you commit. So if you know your opponent's mashing here, you would delay it. Like, don't commit fully, because then obviously they're going to be waiting for it. Delay, like that. So you see that little delay? Once you hit that slight delay, oh, see that? You commit. That's when you want to commit. Once you get that slight delay, if your opponent starts pressing so much, slightly delay that string, and then boom, punish them every time. And then that puts you in a scenario then where if they get hit by that, you're plus 15, which then means, oops, sorry, let me delay it one time. Like that, right? Where you get your perfumer mix up. Let me do it one more time. Like that, see? Delay it slightly, and then boom. If this is, again, this is off of a read that your opponent's going to be mashing on you, and they're not going to be respecting you, and they're just going to continuously press on you. But yeah, the last thing I want to put in this video, because I have had a couple people ask me about this, and I wrote it to somebody in the comment section, and I wanted to at least give my advice on it so you guys can learn it if you don't know how to, is Korean backdashing. I did talk about this a little bit and before, but my approach to Korean backdashing has always been the same. I sucked at Korean backdashing. I always thought that if you did it super fast, it would just work. And obviously, that's not the approach you want to take with it. Now, you can see my inputs. This is how my inputs looks when I'm doing Korean backdashes and stuff. Now, I implement a different flow state to it that I will go over real quick. Is that when I'm doing like movement, I'll do stuff like this. I'll sidestep and do some backdash. I don't always just do this. Because if you always do this, then your movement becomes the same, right? You don't want to sit there and just backdash every time. You want to sit there and implement different movement. So like sidestep, go in a bit, hold back so you're not getting hit. Like stuff like this. Like that, see? Stuff like that where you're like moving and stuff. As long as you're moving, then you're creating different movement options for your opponents to like really guess on when you're going to go in. So yeah, quick tip on the Korean backdash. I do it like this. So when I was learning it, the input is back, right? So back is your backdash. So once you do this, you've already completed half the step. So backdash, and you're like, oh, okay, so this is a backdash, correct. This is how you backdash. Now what you want to do after the backdash is you backdash and hold down back. That's all I want you guys to do. If you ever want to learn this, do it like this. Backdash and hold down back. And then once you got that down, all you have to do is press back once. Now, look at my inputs there. Just press it once. We'll show it again. Backdash, down, back, back. See? I'm only pressing it once. And that right there is a backdash cancel. That is a Korean backdash. Now, this is where I mentioned this to somebody in the comments, where take it as slow as you want if you want to learn movement. You don't have to do it as fast. If you see me do this, you don't have to do it like that. You don't have to like implement side steps. You don't have to do all this stuff like I do. It's just as you get better with it, then you can start implementing it. But take it as slow as you want. Do a backdash, down back, and just press back and see how he's already doing it, because you don't have to hit back again. So the input would basically back, down, back. So back, down, back, down, back, down, back. And he will do it every time. Now, when you watch Victor do it, watch how slow you could do it. If you could get it like this, you're doing it right. That's Korean backdash cancel. You're canceling your backdash, right? Then as you get better with knowing this, when you sit there and go, well, this is pretty easy, I'm understanding this now, speed it up. That's where I'm not saying speed it up fully. Don't try to go crazy and do this. Don't try to do all that. Speed it up little by little. Just go little by little when you're doing a Korean backdash and speed it up. Speed it up. So you just speed it up slowly. Speed it up slowly. Get a little faster. And once you feel comfortable with getting faster, speed it up a little bit more, where it's looking like that, right? And then as you progress through the stages of like going from slow to like medium and then like fast, then you could really sit there and go, okay, I'm understanding this now, right? Always remember that. Start off slow. Back, down, back. And then just speed it up. Speed it up. All you have to do is just do this. And then once you feel comfortable with that, then start doing this. Just be a little bit faster. You don't have to implement. Don't implement the stuff that I do, where you see me go like this and stuff. Don't do that. Just do this. You're going to see me do it because I'm so used to doing it. Just do this. Once you get used to that, then you start implementing other stuff. Now, like I said, you don't have to follow the same flow that I do, but just do stuff like this. Like go in, dash up, like do stuff like that, make them whiff. Because I do this to my opponents all the time, where like I'm like sidestepping, or I go like this, push up a bit, then push back, push up a bit, push back, and if they whiff, boom. This is like where movement becomes key in Tekken, right? Where you want to get your opponent to like whiff in this range, and then boom, you can whiff punish them. But yeah, almost a 50-minute video. Let's wrap this up. I hope this video was helpful. This is my entire guide on how I approach Victor, what I'm thinking is best for him this season, how I'm looking at the character. This is more of an updated video from Season 1, because Season 1 is obviously different from Season 2 now. But I think Victor's at a good spot. I think Victor has a lot of ways that he can retain Oki and have great damage. He still has amazing wall carry. He still has amazing mix-ups. He still has fantastic wall game. It's just the character now is a little bit different than what he was prior, because obviously with all the universal changes that have come in this game. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm very sorry if you didn't want this 50-minute video. I'm sorry, you were getting it though. This is a massive video that I was planning on doing, and I think I've covered a lot of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it once again. And yeah, the next video will be the 100th video on the channel, and I still don't know what I'm gonna do for that. Maybe I'll just do a regular Ninja Gaiden video. I'm not sure, but there you guys go, man. I hope you guys found anything useful in this. And if you have any questions, obviously, go in the comment section and ask me. We are 10 subs off of 700, so hopefully we'll be able to get there very soon. Have a great night, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.